Before you set goals for 2026, before you try to become better, there's something you need to see. Because most people will use the new year to repeat the same life, with better excuses. Every January, millions of people do the same thing. They reset, they plan, they promise themselves this year will be different. And almost none of them change. Not because they lack discipline, not because they don't know what to do, but because they never question the one who wants to change. 2026 doesn't need a new version of you. It needs an ending. Self-improvement is the most socially accepted way to avoid real change. As long as you're improving, no one asks you to stop. Not even you. So the same identity survives. With new habits, new goals, new language, same center. Right now, notice this. The part of you listening is already planning how to use this. That's the one that ran 2025 and 2024. If it stays in charge, 2026 is already decided. So don't improve yourself, don't promise anything, don't start strong. Just see, clearly, what is afraid of not continuing. This moment doesn't need momentum. It doesn't need a plan. It only needs honesty. If you're willing to let something end before the year really begins, this channel is for you. Let the year begin without ambition. Not passive, not careless, unburdened. Notice how uncomfortable that feels. Because without a goal, the mind doesn't know who to be. It loses its posture, its direction, its importance. And that discomfort is not a problem. It's the first honest signal of the year. You don't need to replace it with motivation. You don't need to cover it with plans. Stay with it long enough, and you'll see something clearly. The pressure to become is the pressure to continue being someone. That pressure shaped every fresh start before this one. New year, new intention, same center. So let 2026 begin without ceremony. No countdown, no declaration, no identity reset. Just this quiet recognition. Life does not need your improvement to unfold. You can still act, still build, still move. But the desperation to arrive somewhere is no longer driving. And when that desperation loosens, action becomes simple, clean, unforced, not coming from lack, but from presence. If something in you is waiting for permission to stop trying so hard, this is it. You don't need to do anything with this message. You don't need to agree. Just notice, as the days of 2026 begin, whether the old urgency tries to return. And when it does, see it. Not as an enemy, not as a failure, but as a habit that no longer needs to run the year. That alone is a different beginning. And if you're honest, you can already feel it. A quiet space where urgency hasn't rushed in yet. A gap before the old momentum restarts. That gap is rare. Most people will close it immediately. With goals, with noise, with effort. They'll call that starting strong. But strength isn't force. Strength is not needing to escape this moment. Right now, nothing is wrong. And that is deeply threatening to the part of you that survives by fixing. So it will whisper, okay, but what's the next step? That whisper is the past trying to secure the future. You don't need to fight it. You don't need to answer it. Let it hang unanswered. Because when a question isn't fed, the one who asked it weakens. This is how the year actually changes. Not through discipline, not through vision boards, not through reinventing yourself, but through the slow realization that you don't need to carry yourself forward anymore. You can still participate in life, still make decisions, still move toward things, but without the weight of becoming someone else. And that changes everything quietly. Days stop feeling like tests. Time stops feeling like pressure. Progress stops feeling personal. You're no longer running the year. The year is simply happening. So let January be simple. Let February be ordinary. Let the months arrive without expectation. If nothing dramatic happens, that's not failure. That's freedom without fireworks. And if the old patterns return, because they will, see them without disappointment. Disappointment only exists when you expected yourself to be different. Drop that expectation. Then 2026 isn't a project. It's just life, unburdened by the story that something was wrong with you to begin with. Stay there. Let the year unfold without you standing in front of it. And notice something subtle as this continues. Nothing is being added. Nothing is being taken away. The moment is not improving, and it's not collapsing. It's simply unowned. That's why it feels unfamiliar. You've spent years standing in front of life, interpreting it, measuring it, turning it into a reflection of, how am I doing? Without that commentary, life feels strangely quiet. Not empty, just unclaimed. This is where most people panic, because without the story of self, there's no scoreboard, no sense of advancement, no sense of falling behind. Just living, and living without a narrator feels like losing control. But control was never safety. It was just familiarity. So let familiarity dissolve. Let the year move forward without you checking in on it. You don't need to ask if this is working. You don't need to track whether you're still aligned. Alignment happens naturally when resistance drops. And resistance drops when nothing is being demanded of the moment. This doesn't make you inactive, it makes you precise. When action happens, it happens cleanly. No overthinking, no inner negotiation, no need to justify it as growth. And when nothing needs to happen, that's allowed too. That permission is what most people never give themselves. They confuse stillness with stagnation. They confuse rest with falling behind. But what actually falls behind is the pressure. And when pressure is gone, clarity doesn't need to be searched for. It's already present in the simplest things. A conversation, a step outside, a breath you didn't manage. So if you take anything into 2026, let it be this. You don't have to arrive anywhere for life to be complete. You don't have to fix yourself to deserve the moment. Let the year unfold without an audience inside your head. Let it be ordinary, let it be quiet. And notice, gently, without claiming it, that nothing essential is missing. That's not a resolution, that's release. And from here, the year can finally begin without you standing in the way. And before this video ends, there's one last thing to notice. The mind is quieter now. Not silent, just less convincing. And that's enough. Nothing needs to be sealed. Nothing needs to be declared. Because real change doesn't announce itself. It shows up as less urgency, less narration, less pressure to become someone else. Most people will leave this video and immediately reach for direction. A goal, a plan, a next step. Not because they need it, but because silence feels unfamiliar. So here's a simple request. Before you move on, before you explain this to yourself, before you turn it into something useful, pause and ask yourself one honest question. What right now feels unnecessary to carry into 2026? Don't analyze it. Don't justify it. Just notice what comes up. Then do one thing. Leave it in the comments. One word, one sentence, no story. Just what you're ready to let end. Read a few other comments too. You'll notice something quietly powerful. You're not alone in this moment. And if you're willing to start the year without pretending, without performing growth, without carrying what no longer fits, subscribe. This channel isn't about becoming more. It's about ending what never needed to continue. That's it. Let the video end. And let the year begin a little lighter than the last one.